Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Don't Thread That Thing with Andrea and Charlotte and our special guest today, Willow. This is episode 2. We will be talking about natural dyeing, and so we decided to bring our lovely natural dyeing guru expert, amazing, wonderful Willow Sharp. Yes. So Willow, if you would like to introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. I'm a graduate from OCAD. I graduated from graphic design last year, and I did my thesis in textile waste. And in the last year or so, I've been exploring natural dyeing, and part of that was going to Costa Rica to do a residency. So that's why I'm here to talk to you guys.
Thank you for coming.
So much. I have like a basic ass white cotton shirt that I was thinking I was gonna
do. A canvasy like bag thing.
Okay, like so if it's new, you need to wash it.
Yeah.
And if it's like used, you should probably wash it. You should just wash it. It like opens up the fibers or whatever. And then there's different like fixatives that you can soak it in for like a couple of hours. You can also, there's like so many things, like I've done so many silly things. You can like wash it in soy milk for like 3 days. Like there's like so many ridiculous things you could do. But I think like for your purposes, like wash it in like hot water and like let it dry, and then just like soak it in like salty water for a couple hours like before you, and then you can just take it out and like squeeze it and put it in the dye. Because I feel like you're going for really like things you can do from home without like buying like 7 random chemicals online.
Yeah.
So I'd say like just wash whatever you have, and then soak it in hot salty water. It's called, oh my god,
soak it in hot salty water for how long? Like overnight?
Like an hour. No,
Yeah.
it just opens the fibers. It's called scoring the fabric.
Scoring.
Yeah.
Damn, you are the perfect person to call.
I know.
I don't exactly know. What kinds of dye are you thinking of using?
So I also have a ton of avocado pits because everybody in my house has been eating avocado toast recently, and I've been collecting the rinds.
So we're like kind of focusing on food scraps.
Or food scraps, yeah.
Just because it would
Food scraps are better, yeah. I would say the unfortunate thing is that like beets and blueberries and turmeric, which you were like would be great dye, are like all kind of shitty dyes.
Really?
Yeah, they just don't hold. Like so turmeric is like really, really it's not light fast, so the sun like fades it really, really quickly. And beets just kind of turn like you can like dye it, but as soon as you wash it, it'll turn gray. And then blueberries just turns like a brown green color.
No, I did not know that. I've always heard of those being really popular, but it makes sense that they don't last that long.
Yeah, they just don't really work. Like a lot of the time when people are dyeing like wool, like you know people don't wash wool sweaters, like you wash them by hand and you like keep them like nice. So like if people are dyeing like wool, you can like kind of use more sensitive dyes because you're not gonna just throw it in the laundry, right?
Totally threw mine in the laundry yesterday and have shrunk a wool sweater.
There you go.
That happened.
The mistake. What do you think, like, in your experience, lasts the longest? Like, which?
Or just what are all the other options?
This would involve some scavenging, but I'm pretty sure there'd be wild grapes, which is what I've been doing recently, which is very cool.
So now the more important question: once you have this avocado skin / pit, how do you turn it into a dye, and are we missing supplies? So
the thing about avocados also is the skins and the pits make different colors. So you can or you can do them together, but they both make kind of like a pinky, kind of like a brown. So avocados are kind of sensitive to temperature.
Okay.
One of the things I learned is like you don't ever want to bring your dye to a boil, or else it'll just turn brown.
That was my first plan.
Yeah, I would do that. 100%.
You want it to be like under a boil like the whole time.
Like a simmer though.
Yeah. Like you want it to be hot, and like, but if it starts to like rolling boil, it'll just like break everything down and turn.
Like a 5 on your stove?
Yeah, but like a 5 can still boil, like if you're not watching it. You know what I mean?
Careful.
If you put the lid on and you kind of just leave it, like it might just start boiling.
Okay.
So you kind of have to pay attention. Like what a lot of the time when you're making a dye is like you put in the dye stuff, like the avocados, and then you just like bring it up almost to a boil, and then you bring it back down and you kind of just stir it and you leave it. Like
You stir it and then you just leave it with the water, or at this point have you put in the cloth?
No. So you should always take out the like the dye stuff, the like avocados. Oh, tea is also a good dye.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because it's like full of tannin.
I guess like a tea bag that hasn't been used.
You could probably do it after, but you would just like if you kept it.
I like collected all the tea bags of my roommate.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Probably. Like I haven't tried it, but I bet that would work. So like tea and like oak and avocado pits and stuff like that, they have tannins in them, which is like natural fixative, so you don't need like extra chemicals a lot of the time when you're doing avocado, which is why it's one of the like good like home ones. Anyways, yeah, so you maybe like I don't think you should make your dye bath overnight, but if you make the dye bath, like you put in the avocados, you bring it up almost to a boil, and then you bring it down, and like you can sort of play around, like it'll get darker and you can bring it like warm again and cool and just kind of mix it, and then you strain everything out, and that's when you bring it back to like a hot temperature and you put your fabric in, and you have to yeah, so there's like two things, is like try not to boil it again because it is sensitive, but also there's like you have to like leave it for a really long time. Like I would leave it overnight, and you have to make sure that the pot is big enough that your fabric is completely submerged.
Sorry, leave
And
the
fabric in overnight.
fabric submerged overnight, but not heated.
Not heated. Oh, that's the other thing, is you can only dye natural fibers, but I'm pretty sure you knew that.
Oh, no, we did not. No, Willow, we have no knowledge. No.
Natural dyes, you can only dye natural fibers.
Yeah, saying it makes sense. Yes.
Cotton, hemp, linen, silk, wool, rayon. I've never tried. It's technically made of cellulose. Tencel, whatever that is.
Cool. What if it's like 80% cotton?
It'll just be like spotchy.
Okay.
It's weird. Like it'll be like you know when you get like, the only thing I can think of is like salt and peppery like sweatpants that are like gray and black, and it kind of looks like that.
Okay.
Because all the like all the fibers that are polyester just won't dye.
Good to know.
So you're going to start by taking out a pot and make sure that your pot is big enough for all the items that you want to dye. Then you're going to fill it with water and start it at around, I'd say 5. You don't want it to boil, but you also want it to get hot. Then you're going to take your avocados. I was keeping mine in the freezer to make sure that they were fresh. And then I put them under the strainer just to make sure that there was no little avocado flesh stuck to the pits. Then you're going to put it in your water and really just let it heat up for around an hour to 2 hours. You'll see the color will start to change in that time. Then you're going to remove the clothing from the washing machine in order to open up the fibers to be dyed. Willow also recommended putting it in salt water, but even more important than that is making sure that they're natural fibers. So here I have 1 linen and 1 cotton top. So here you could see the avocados started out, they're a little brown, and then within an hour it turned this gorgeous kind of cherry pink color. At this point you can remove the pits. If you want to be really sophisticated about it, I'd say actually strain out the dye so far, but I just removed it with tongs and that worked as well. Then you're gonna fold your clothing and just push it in the dye. I just use tongs. Make sure not to touch it because it's pretty hot at this point. Fold in the t-shirt as well. And then you're just gonna let that sit overnight. So this is now a clip of me in the morning, and I'm pulling it out, and it's kind of this gorgeous, sort of dusty pink, dare I say millennial pink color. So squeeze out all the water that you can, and then you're going to hang it up, and you're going to want to let it dry before you heat set it. So it took roughly 3 or 4 hours before it was dry enough to iron. But here it is. Your beautiful pink garment.
Okay, hello again. We are back to reveal the results of our natural dyeing quest. So I did the tea. I did like a bunch of black tea as a dyeing material, and this is what we have.
Ooh, it's like
I don't know if you can see the color as well, but it's like a nice deep tan brown.
yeah, it's like a caramel or something.
Smells like tea. Kind of smells like raisin. Maybe a mistake that I made is that before ironing it, so heat setting it, I wanted it to dry. And so I put it on our old radiator in this apartment, and it kind of left a mark. These very strict, a little tie-dye into that. And there's parts of it that are like a little bit more pigmented, you know? And I think that just might be because it was folded a certain way in the pot when I left it overnight.
Yeah, I had that too, and I think it's because I didn't strain it. Like I just took the avocado pits out with a, I was about to say syringe, a
Tong things.
That's it, yeah. But I think if I'd actually strained out the little bits, it would have been a much more consistent
Yeah,
color.
well,
But mine with avocado pits, and I think you've probably seen the color already in the how-to video, but it's this very nice pink sort of blush color, and yeah, it's pretty even throughout. This is the dress shirt, so this was 100% linen, and then we also did it on a t-shirt, which was 100% cotton, and it's kind of cool because it was like a little bit darker on top, and then it gets lighter. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun to make like a full set with like a pants and top situation.
Or just like, I really want to do like towels or dishcloths or something. Kitchen stuff would be really nice.
Also, the internet suggests silk scarves, which is really scary. If you mess it up, it's super expensive, but I think silk dyes very well. And this would be like a nice, luxurious pajama.
Ooh, it would be really nice to like dye a bunch of different fabrics to see if the color holds differently, or like the best result potentially. Or wool. Wool would be really interesting to try to dye.
True.
But I don't know, I like the colors. They're very like
nice earth tones, which is literally what we're both wearing now anyway.
yeah, I know. This is very in my color palette.
Yeah, for a scarf. But anyway, thanks for following along. Coming to episode 2. Episode 3 next week is probably going to be about coffee grounds, which we all have in abundance, so stick around.
Yes.
And let us know if you dye anything.
Yes, and also thank you again to our really great friend Willow for sharing her natural dyeing knowledge with us. It was very informative.
Nice.
And now I will be dyeing for the rest of the year.
Beautiful. We're already so stylish.
I know. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
In the desert, things grow by the inch.